Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. Success doesn't come to those who sit around waiting for life to hand them opportunities. Success comes to those who challenge themselves every single day. Every morning when you wake up, life gives you two choices: stay the same or push yourself to become something greater. And let me be real with you. Greatness never lives in the comfort zone. It lives in those moments where you dare to stretch yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that most people don't realize. Greatness never lives in the comfort zone. Comfort feels good. Comfort feels safe, but it is also the very thing that keeps us stuck in one place. The comfort zone is where dreams go to sleep, and if you want to wake your dreams up, you've got to step into places that make you uncomfortable. Think about it. Every time you've achieved something meaningful in your life, it didn't come from sitting back and doing what was easy. It came from pushing yourself, from taking a risk, from doing something that scared you a little bit. That's because greatness demands growth, and growth never happens in the space of comfort. When you're comfortable, you're not stretching, you're not learning, and you're not developing the skills that will prepare you for the next level. Comfort is a trap. It tricks you into believing you're okay, when deep down you know you're capable of more. It whispers to you that tomorrow you'll chase that goal, tomorrow you'll take that step, tomorrow you'll face that challenge. But let me tell you something, tomorrow never comes for people who are waiting inside the comfort zone. The only thing that comes is regret. And regret is far heavier to carry than fear or failure. I've met so many people who want success, who talk about success, who even dream about success. But the moment it requires them to get uncomfortable, they back down. They think success should come easy. But if it were easy, everybody would have it. The truth is, every person you admire, every person you look at and say, that's greatness, they had to walk through discomfort. Athletes push their bodies beyond exhaustion. Entrepreneurs risk losing everything. Artists pour themselves into their craft while battling rejection and criticism. They step into the unknown, and it's in the unknown where greatness is born. The comfort zone will always try to protect you, but what it's really doing is keeping you small. You were not designed to live small. You were designed to live big, to use your gifts, to rise up and stand out. And the only way to discover the depth of your strength is to go where you've never been before. When you challenge yourself to step out of comfort, you realize that fear is temporary, but pride in what you accomplish is permanent. You learn that the limits you thought you had were only illusions created by your own mind. So if you want greatness, stop running toward comfort and start running toward challenge. Choose to be uncomfortable every single day, because those moments of discomfort are the very building blocks of your future. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you're not just moving closer to success, you're becoming the person capable of handling that success. Greatness is waiting, but it's waiting outside the walls of comfort. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you a truth that life has taught me over and over again. Growth requires discomfort, and discomfort builds champions. Nobody ever became great by staying where they were, doing what was easy, or living inside routines that demanded nothing from them. Growth is not born in the moments when everything feels smooth and comfortable. It comes when you step into challenges that stretch you, test you, and force you to become more than you thought you could be. Discomfort is the classroom of growth, and only those willing to sit in that classroom graduate into champions. Think about the process of building muscle. If you go to the gym and lift weights that are too light, you're not really building strength, you're just moving through motions. The growth happens when the weight feels heavy, when your arms start to shake, when you push through that last rep that your body didn't think it could handle. That discomfort is what tears the muscle so it can grow back strong. Life works the same way. If you never challenge, if you never feel stretched, You never develop the resilience and strength needed to handle bigger opportunities. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is the very thing shaping you into the person you need to become. The problem is most people run away from discomfort. They want the rewards of growth without the struggle that comes with it. But champions, they think differently. Champions lean into discomfort because they understand that every obstacle, every rejection, every failure is not breaking them, it is building them. When you feel uncomfortable, it means you're in a place of learning, and learning is the path to mastery. Discomfort sharpens your skills, it toughens your mindset, and it builds character that can't be shaken when life gets rough. I've seen it in my own life. The times when I grew the most were not the times when everything was easy. They were the times when I didn't know what tomorrow would look like, when I had to figure out how to keep going, even when I didn't have all the answers, when I had to believe in myself before anybody else did. That was uncomfortable. But every single one of those moments prepared me for the blessings that were waiting ahead. Without discomfort, I wouldn't have had the strength to walk into opportunities. And without discomfort, I wouldn't have had the vision to recognize my own potential. Champions are not born in comfort. They are born in the fire of pressure, in the grind of hard work, in the weight of sacrifice. When you see someone standing at the top, you're looking at a person who went through countless moments of discomfort and refused to quit. Every setback became fuel. Every failure became a lesson. Every challenge became training for the next level. That's why discomfort is such a gift. It may feel painful in the moment, but it is carving out the strength that will one day carry you to your dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make this clear to you. Consistency is the key that unlocks success. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants the reward, but very few are willing to show up day after day with discipline and determination. Success doesn't belong to the person who works hard one day and disappears the next. It belongs to the one who shows up, rain or shine, motivated or tired, excited or discouraged. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is powerful, because when you stay consistent, you create momentum. And momentum is what separates winners from dreamers. Most people overestimate the importance of big actions and underestimate the power of small, repeated ones. You don't get in shape from going to the gym once. You get in shape from going consistently. You don't become wealthy from saving money once. You build wealth by saving and investing consistently. You don't master a skill by practicing once in a while. You master it by practicing daily, even when you don't feel like. That's the beauty of consistency. It compounds. Every small effort builds upon the last one, and before you know it, those little actions have created something massive. Success is not built in one day. It is built by what you do every day. The challenge is consistency doesn't always feel rewarding in the moment. It can feel boring. It can feel slow. It can feel like nothing is changing. That's why so many people quit. They don't realize that while they're showing up, while they're staying committed, progress is happening silently in the background. The seeds you plant today may not grow tomorrow, but if you water it every day, eventually it breaks through the soil. That's what consistency does. It guarantees results when everything else fails. I've learned in my own journey that talent will get you noticed, but consistency will keep you there. Plenty of talented people never make it because they relied only on their gift and refused to put in the daily grind. But someone with average talent who is consistent will always rise higher than someone with great talent who is inconsistent. Consistency beats brilliance when brilliance doesn't show up. And when you stay consistent, even on the hardest days, you send a message to life that you are serious, that you won't give up. And life eventually rewards that. Think about the people you admire. the ones you call successful. Look deeper into their story and you'll find consistency written all over it. Athletes training day after day, entrepreneurs working long nights after long days, leaders studying and growing year after year. None of them got to the top by accident. They got there because they decided to be consistent long after the excitement wore off. And that's what you need to understand. Success is not built on motivation alone, because motivation comes and goes. Success is built on consistency, and consistency stays. So if you want to unlock the doors of success, you got to commit to showing up every single day. Small steps, repeated with consistency, will take you farther than giant leaps taken once in a while. That's the key. And once you have it, there's no door success can keep closed from you. Ladies and gentlemen, too many people waste their lives comparing themselves to others, measuring their worth by what someone else has, what someone else does, or where someone else is in life. But true success has nothing to do with being better than the person next to you. It has everything to do with being better than the person you were yesterday. The moment you shift your focus from competition with others to competition with yourself, that's the moment you begin to grow. That's the moment you begin to win. See, the problem with comparison is that it robs you of joy. There will always be someone who has more money, more fame, more talent, or more recognition than you. If you spend your energy trying to outdo them, you'll never feel satisfied because the bar will always keep moving. But when you wake up each morning and say, today, I will be a little stronger than I was yesterday, a little wiser, a little kinder, a little more disciplined, you create a standard that no one else can control. You take back your power and you make success something you can reach every single day. Success is personal. It's about progress, not perfection. If you used to quit when things got tough, but today you decide to push through, that's success. If yesterday you doubted yourself, but today you choose to believe, that's success. If last year you were standing still, but this year you're moving forward, that's success. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's journey. Your success is your own, and it grows when you measure yourself against your own past, not against someone else's highlight reel. I've learned that when you chase your own progress, life becomes a lot lighter. You stop carrying the burden of comparison and you start living with gratitude for how far you've come. Every step forward, no matter how small, becomes worth celebrating. That celebration gives you confidence, and that confidence fuels your next step. It becomes a cycle of growth. But when you live trying to beat someone else, you live in frustration because you're chasing a finish line that was never yours to begin with. Champions are not defined by being better than everybody else. They are defined by their dedication to being better than their former selves. The greatest athletes, the most successful leaders, the most inspiring people. Yes, they compete with others, but their deepest competition is internal. They're constantly asking, am I stronger than I was last season? Am I wiser than I was last year? Am I more focused than I was yesterday? That's how they rise, not by copying someone else's path, but by improving their own step by step. So remember, success isn't about standing on top of others. It's about standing taller than the version of you from yesterday. If you improve yourself daily, even in small ways, over time the results will be extraordinary. Success doesn't require you to be the best in the world. It requires you to be the best version of yourself. And that is a race only you can run and only you can win. Ladies and gentlemen, too many people let failure stop them, when in reality, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process that leads to it. Every successful person you see today has a trail of failures behind them. Failures that taught them, molded them, and prepared them for the moment they finally achieved their dream. Failure is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Because without it, you never gain the wisdom and resilience needed to handle success when it comes. The truth is, failure is life's way of testing how badly you want something. If success were handed to you the first time you tried, it wouldn't mean as much, and you wouldn't value it. But when you fail and choose to keep going, you prove to yourself and to the world that you are serious, that you are committed, that you are willing to pay the price for your dream. Every failure is a stepping stone, and each one brings you closer to the version of yourself capable of handling bigger opportunities. Think about a child learning to walk. They don't stand up once, fall, and then decide walking isn't for them. They fall over and over again. But with each fall, they gain balance, strength, and confidence until walking becomes natural. Failure in life is the same. You may stumble, you may fall, but each time you get up, you are stronger and wiser than before. Failure is not the end of the journey. It is part of the training for greatness. I've seen people quit because of one rejection, one disappointment, one setback. They treat failure as a dead end when really it's just a detour. Every rejection you face is redirecting you toward a better opportunity. Every setback is preparing you for a stronger comeback. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in life are born right after the darkest failures. You don't lose when you fail. You only lose when you stop trying. History is filled with stories of people who failed countless times before they succeeded. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. Michael Jordan missed thousands of shots and lost hundreds of games, yet he became one of the greatest athletes of all time. These people didn't see failure as a reason to quit. They saw it as feedback, as experience, as a necessary part of reaching the top. That's why they won, because they understood that failure was their teacher, not their enemy. So when you fail, don't let it break you. Let it build you. Ask yourself, what lesson can I take from this? How can I do better next time? How can this setback prepare me for the future? The answers you find in those questions will give you strength that success alone never could. Remember, failure isn't proof that you're not capable. It's proof that you're in the game, that you're trying, that you're pushing yourself forward. And if you keep learning, keep adjusting, and keep moving, those failures will one day add up to your greatest success. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something important. The size of your challenges will determine the size of your success. Too many people want big rewards but shy away from big problems. They want the glory, but they don't want the grind. The truth is, life doesn't hand out greatness without first testing whether you can handle it. Those challenges, those obstacles, those struggles you face, they're not there to break you. They're there to shape you for the level of success you've been asking for. If you pray for something big, don't be surprised when life sends you big challenges, because success and challenge always walk hand in hand. When you face small challenges, you grow a little. But when you face big challenges, you grow in ways you never thought possible. Every mountain you climb adds strength, wisdom, and perspective that prepares you for the next mountain. If you never face anything hard, you never discover how strong you really are. Challenges reveal character. They strip away excuses and force you to dig deep to find courage to activate parts of yourself that comfort would never bring out. The greater the storm you walk through, the greater the testimony you'll have when you come out on the other side. Look at the stories of the most successful people in the world. Every single one of them faced enormous challenges before they achieved their dreams. They endured rejection, poverty, failure, criticism, and obstacles that would have made most people quit. But those challenges became their training ground. The bigger the fight, the bigger the victory. The harder the journey, the sweeter the reward. If their challenges had been smaller, their stories wouldn't be as inspiring, and their success wouldn't have been as impactful. You can't ask for extraordinary success while praying for ordinary problems. Life doesn't work that way. If you want to reach new levels, you've got to be willing to tackle new devils. Every level of success comes with challenges equal in size. But here's the good news. If life trusted you with a big challenge, it's because it knows you have what it takes to overcome it. The fact that you're in the fight means you're strong enough to win it. You may not feel ready, but challenges are designed to stretch you into readiness. I know it's tempting to want life to be easy, but ease never made anyone great. Diamonds are formed under pressure, gold is refined by fire, and champions are built by struggle. That challenge you're facing right now might feel overwhelming, but it's preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. One day you'll look back and realize that without that challenge, you wouldn't have become who you are. So don't run from challenges, welcome them. The size of your challenge is simply the measure of the success waiting on the other side. The bigger the challenge, the greater the reward. And if you keep pushing, keep fighting, and keep believing, that challenge will turn into the very thing that elevates you to your destiny.